Hi everybody, it's Richard again here from Electric Classic Cars, and on this week's episode we're going to be talking all about the Land Rover Defender. Now, of all the Land Rovers ever built, or Land Rover Defenders ever built, 90% of them are still up on the road apparently, and not all of them are on farms is probably the easiest way to put this. So here's my electric Defender over here, and obviously being born and bred in mid-Wales, it's more off-roady orientated, I think it's fair to say. And there's no getting away from the fact that there's a huge market out there for customised, urban orientated Land Rovers, let's say. And that's kind of what this one is over here. I've never really, I wouldn't say I've never been a fan. It's just that I've never really, experienced one before. So I guess this episode is going to be me for the first time experiencing a more tarmac orientated Land Rover Defender than what I'm used to. And it's a weird animal as a Land Rover Defender, because there's no other vehicle out there that spans such a wide range, if you like, of demographic, from farmers that are just about keeping their Land Rover going, and it's got rust, it's got sheep whatever's in all over it, and it's just used on a farm as a farm implement, right the way through to gold-plated Land Rover Defenders out in Dubai that are worth a small fortune. There's no other vehicle out there that spans such a wide spectrum, if you like. And what I'm going to be doing in this episode is mainly concentrating on this one, because if you want to see more about my Land Rover Defender, click on the old clicky click above. But this is what I'm interested in this episode. So on that note, let's have a closer look. Now, the first thing to say about this Land Rover Defender is it wasn't built by us. It was actually built by a company over in Ireland called AVA, but it was converted to electric using our bolt-in kit. Now, if you want to find more details about this bolt-in kit, click on the clicky link above. But it's the same kit that's been used to convert my Defender and all our own Defenders, which essentially is a 100 kilowatt hour battery pack and a Tesla drivetrain, along with all the other bits and pieces, from chargers to DC converters to prop shafts, everything you need to just drop in to a Land Rover Defender and convert it to electric. And it's kind of based off our 6 years of experience of converting Land Rover Defenders in-house, and we actually ship out more kits than we actually build cars internally in the company. So we're kind of, I would say a 50% kit conversion company and a 50% conversion of cars in the factory. And then there's more and more kits starting to go out from the factory all around the world. But this kit went to Ireland. So what have we got in it? Let's have a quick look under the bonnet, which is a really light bonnet, but I'll come to that in a minute. And if we have a quick look here, we've got underneath here usual box I always see in the Defenders, which is 60 kilowatt hours of battery pack in the front and 40% in the rear. And you've got a couple of header tanks here and the radiator at the front. But again, I'm not going to go too much into the detail of the actual kit, because, as I say, you can have a look at that previous video that we've done all about the Land Rover Defender kit. So if I close this very light bonnet, and let's have a look at the rest of the car. Now let's talk about the biggest difference between my Land Rover and this one, which is kind of the look. This is definitely more upmarket, urban orientated than mine, let's say. And you've got that aftermarket grille setup on the front with LED headlights and stuff, and not my style, but I can see it's quite cool. But the thing that I can't get away from, and I mentioned before, the bonnet is really light. It's got a carbon fibre bonnet. How awesome's that? And look at the way they've actually accented it as well. I mean, they've painted it, but left this kind of rectangular there, and then lacquered over it, so you can see the raw carbon fibre. I actually really like that. I wouldn't put it on mine, because it's just not suitable for that look, but I do really like that carbon fibre bonnet. And looking underneath, it's really high quality as well. And talking about the quality, I don't know if it's going to be picked up on the camera, but this is, the finish on this is just stunning. I mean, the paint is just lovely, but the overall finish, whoever did this over in Ireland, well done, boys. And whoever thought of doing a carbon fibre bonnet, big tick, I approve. But aesthetically, I'm interested to know in the comments below, what do you think of the look of this Defender? Because it's an acquired taste, I think. The blue is a little bit of a Marmite colour, and the white arches and the white wheels. These are RVS BL system wheels for those that are interested. It's got a unique look, let's say. So comments below, likey or no likey? And I'm assuming behind here they've got the oh, there you go, there's the charge cap. So they've kind of done exactly the same as me and put the charge cap behind the actual air intake. So behind there is a 22 kilowatt three-phase AC. This hasn't got any CCS on it, but it's 22 kilowatt AC. But I really like the look of it, if I must. I have to admit, I didn't think I'd like it, but standing in front of it now, I really like it.
It grows on you, doesn't it?
It does grow on you.
Yeah.
I don't think I could be persuaded away from mine, because I do like the, Spartan, old school off-roady look. But if I lived in the city, this would be quite cool, I reckon.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's have a look at the interior. Wow. Now this is where there's a massive difference between my Land Rover and this one. This, oh, I can smell the leather now. This just looks like a really, really high-end, modern Range Rover, with all this cream leather and the stitchwork and the finish on this dashboard is just outstanding. I don't know where they've got that done, but that is some awesome trimming. But unlike a Range Rover, which I think is a ridiculous car to have in a city, quite frankly, this from the outside is actually a really small, compact car. It's definitely smaller than your Astra, isn't it?
Yeah, it seems to be.
I mean, I would probably hazard a guess. It's pretty similar footprint size to my mum's modern Mini. But obviously, there's a lot of people that don't like big 4x4s in the city. But a Land Rover Defender 90 like this, it's not a big car at all. But this interior, I'm a bit worried now whether or not I'm clean enough to sit in it, because there's a lot of cream leather in here. You've got the Alcantara roof, and you've got some kind of infotainment system here, which, again, in my Spartan Land Rover Defender, we don't have stuff like that. This is, I believe this is a Puma dashboard. And it's got our dials on it, although we've branded them there for AVA. So it's got your usual speedo, state of charge, motor temperature, and then the amps gauge here, which actually when you floor it, it goes this way. And when it goes into regenerative braking mode and puts energy back in the battery, it goes below the 0 line. But it looks a really comfortable place to be. Although one thing I have noticed, which is what Tim's sitting on there, it's got a very chic looking wood boot to it. There's no seats in the back. Let's have a quick look at that. Now here's something I've not seen before, and it's kind of a wood floor. The only other urban Defender we've done was for Selfridges a number of years ago, and we had the fold down seats which came up. But I can see why they've done this, because obviously those seats, they're just about fit me in. Tim, you would have been literally like that sitting in them, because you sit up fairly tall and there's not much space up there. So I can kind of see why they've done it, and I've seen this done before with other Defenders where they have like a drawer that comes out for bits and pieces. But it's yeah, it's different, and it's got that rustic sort of like unfinished wood sort of effect to it. But it does actually provide a really big boot, but it makes it into a two-seater Defender. But again, if you're in the city and you only want a two-seater sports car, and believe me, this is still sporty, because I reckon it'll be 0 to 60 in 4.5 seconds. So it's a really quick car, and most cars that accelerate that quick are also two-seaters as well. So it's different. I can kind of see why they've done it. Rustic looking unfinished wood is pretty cool as well. keeps that whole like rough and ready sort of like vibe going with the Land Rover brand. That juxtaposition between beautiful looking quality urban Defender, and then you've just got this rugged looking wood inside. So it's pretty cool. I quite like that. But whether or not I would be able to give up the back seats, I don't know. I need to throw the kids and dog in the back for me. But what do you reckon, Tim? Do you like it?
I don't know.
I'll take
I'm
the
still,
as you're out to lunch on it.
It's going on me slower than the rest of the car.
Is it?
Yeah.
Cool. Right, I think it's time to go for a spin. I want to see what this is like on tarmac.
Yeah, let's give it a drive.
We're on grass at the moment, which is probably about as much off-road as this car's ever going to see. So let's get it back onto its natural habitat, which is tarmac. Right then, I'm in the Defender, and I've wiped my feet because it feels like I should wipe my feet, doesn't it? Are you all clean, Tim?
I'm very clean, yeah. Can you check my hands?
Yeah, I'm afraid to touch anything. It's weird that I never thought of a Defender as a luxury vehicle before. And looking at the plush surroundings in here, it's just weird. And it doesn't smell of like countryside.
Sheep.
It doesn't smell of sheep, yeah, exactly. It smells of, dead cow, because there's leather everywhere. Amazing. I'm ready to be swayed on the whole like urban Defender thing. So here we go. It's obviously got the same system as ours. So electric handbrake system. Put it in D for drive. There we go. So it's got, now this will have road tyres on. My Land Rover has the standard BF Goodrich ATs, all terrains. Don't know if you noticed, but the tyres on this were Michelin Cross something. They were like a road snow winter sort of tyre, which should mean rolling resistance is less, so the range will go up, and also that tyre sort of like ooh noise as you're cruising around about 60 miles an hour should be less as well. But yep, definitely feels like one of our electric Defenders. Shall we see if it accelerates like one of our electric Defenders?
Go on then, foot down.
No, not yet, not yet. We'll get out of the industrial estate first. But it feels nice and solid, and I can tell it's got a lot of soundproofing in, because it just feels and the sound is not reverberating off metal everywhere. Well, I'm not too sure about these blue seat belts.
No, not a fan of the seat belts.
That's a personal touch that I think I would probably change to black if it was me. But I like the fact they've kept the standard big chunky Land Rover steering wheel, and rather than gone for like a sporty small one. So I've noticed on some that I've sat in, when they put a small steering wheel in, you can't see the dials properly, and it feels like a proper chunky steering wheel, this, and they've just retrimmed the
interior has made a real difference in here, isn't it? With the interior, it like you say, you don't feel like you're in a Defender.
No,
you feel like you're in a like a
Range Rover.
Yeah, a Range Rover.
And to all the Defender and Land Rover guys, that's not a diss. I mean, it's just a compliment to the builders of this vehicle that it exudes luxury, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, it's got everything as well. I mean, I just noticed before, it's got heated seats, it's got a heated windscreen. I mean, it's got all the mods and cons you'd expect in a modern day Range Rover, but it's in a compact form in a Land Rover Defender 90, which essentially is smaller in width and length than a Ford Focus. There's some motorbikes. Let's catch up the motorbikes. Oh yeah, that's got a Tesla drive unit in it. Oh, and we've caught up the motorbikes already. That never gets old, does it?
No.
Honestly, that never gets old. I mean, in a lot of respects, I can... The whole Chelsea tractor thing is a derogatory term, I think. But the fact that this is smaller than a Ford Focus. You're sitting up, you've got amazing visibility. I mean, look at the visibility. The A post here is tiny, and you're up above everything. As I say, size-wise, it's pretty small, really. It's not a Chelsea tractor, big BMW, Mercedes 4x4 Range Rover type thing. And it's got 0 emissions. So for an urban stroke city car, actually this isn't that bad, is it?
No, I think you hit the nail on the head earlier when you said that because of the size, it's not a big 4x4, is it? It's quite a small car. But now you've got quite a comfortable interior, you've got phenomenal performance. It almost becomes like quite a sensible town car, doesn't it?
Defender and sensible. I mean, I never thought I'd say luxury and Defender in the same sentence. Now you've added another term, sensible. You're going to be saying it's reliable soon, right? Obviously, reliability does come as standard with most electric drivetrains. Oh, I tell you what, it hasn't got the lean on like mine either. I'm not sure if they've lowered the springs or they've stiffened them up, or maybe they've got anti-roll bars on the rear.
Your Defender is sort of set up for more off-roady, isn't it?
Country living.
And you were saying,
I like that.
That if you really wanted to make it a road car, you'd add a couple of anti-roll bars and maybe drop the suspension a bit,
stiffen up the springs.
So this is obviously had that done, isn't it?
Yeah, I reckon.
And how different does it feel on the road compared to yours?
I mean, you can feel it as soon as I went around that roundabout then. As soon as I went round there, and I was doing the usual sort of like Defender lean, where you start leaning into it, and I thought, oh, I don't have to do that. And that's probably, as you say, a combination of suspension, maybe road tyres, that probably definitely helps. And I have a feeling there's an anti-roll bar on the rear. We'll check it in a minute. But I have a feeling there's an anti-roll bar because I can feel something stopping it wanting to lean so much. The other thing I've noticed is there's not much wind noise.
No, it's very quiet, isn't it?
So they must have soundproofed this a lot inside, but equally there's no Defender air sort of like coming in everywhere.
You're doing 60 mile an hour. All we can hear is the sort of whine from the motor.
Yeah, so you hear the motor and a bit of tyre noise, and that's it. We're going uphill now, and if I floor it, it's up to 900 amps, and already we've run out of road. I did notice earlier when I was having a bit of a look around this outside, this has got the bigger brakes on. They the more modern brakes on the later Defenders compared to mine. Yeah. So mine already is fantastic braking, but they're the solid discs. But with the addition of the regen, it's pretty impressive. So you ready to do a brake test?
I'm holding on.
Brace yourself, Tim.
Brace.
You're going to hit the dashboard to do an emergency stop like they do in tests. Right, you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Whoa! That's got good brakes.
That was surprising for a Defender.
That's yeah. I'm gonna have to get these brakes on mine now.
That's phenomenal, wasn't it?
Yeah. That was proper, like, hold your head, neck muscles are like straining brakes. So that's standard late model Defender brakes with the regen of the Tesla motor on top. That's turbocharged brakes. I think I'll have to get these brakes on mine. Even though there's nothing wrong with my brakes, but that is impressive. The other thing I think this would be good at in the city is parking.
On the curb, you mean?
Yeah, on the curb, because you can park anywhere. No, because you can see every corner.
Yeah, you can.
You can see that corner there, you can see that corner there, and you know that corner doesn't slope off into the distance. That corner drops vertically down. And the same at the back. If you look behind you, you've got glass all around you, and you know that corner there is the end of that vehicle. Yeah. It just drops down. So parking should be a cinch in this. I always look down on the whole Chelsea tractor sort of like urbanised Defenders, but if I lived in the city, I think I'd get one of these.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that just because it's been converted to electric. I'm using one of our kits, but actually, it makes perfect sense.
Yeah. Comfy car,
got brutal acceleration. Yeah, and it's trimmed out like a modern high-end, Range Rover or something.
And of course, if you were in sort of London, for instance, you'd be looking at no congestion charge, or
zero emissions.
Zero emissions.
And you pull up to the lights with your mate's Lamborghini, popping and banging next to you, you floor it, and this will beat it. That's what I love about it. The 0 to 60 on this is just insane. I mean, 0 to 30 is just crazy. So you could have some great stoplight battles in this. Right, back to the unit, I think. So there we are, and I know I shouldn't say this because AVA is a customer of ours that converts these vehicles with our kits, but I wasn't convinced by urban defenders or Chelsea tractors, which is kind of a derogatory term, if you like, because, you know, we're the country bumpkins at the end of the day, aren't we, Tim?
Oh, certainly are, yeah.
And, you know, I could never see why somebody would have a 4x4 in the city. But you know what? I've been persuaded, because the footprint of this is actually smaller than a Ford Focus, and it's about the same size as your Astra.
Yeah.
And you've got great road presence. You can see over everything, glass everywhere. You can see the corners for parking, and zero emissions, performance, like, you know, a supercar performance. I mean, I can totally see it now.
Yeah.
What I can't see is people that buy a big modern Range Rovers the size of a Sherman tank and drive those around Kensington and Chelsea. I'm sorry guys, but that's a silly thing to do. This is more practical, and it makes more sense, I think. So yeah, I've been persuaded. What about you?
I'm shocked, really. I didn't think, I couldn't see where they fitted in, but having driven it, it would make a great city car.
Yep.
It's got performance, it's comfortable. Like you say, it's no bigger than a normal car. And what about range on this? I mean, if you were driving that around a city, you'd hardly need to charge, would you?
Yeah, well, the aerodynamics above 50 miles an hour of a Defender becomes an issue, let's face it. But at city speeds, I mean, 50 miles an hour or less, you'd probably be getting 200 miles range in the city, which means you'd probably be charging up, I don't know, once every few weeks, really. But I mean, what I didn't expect is the luxurious nature of the interior. I've never sat, well, I'll lie, I have sat in a few at shows, and, you know, that whole ostrich leather interior is a bit too much for me, but that works. I really like that, and it's comfortable. So anybody that's considering like a high-end, you know, 4x4 for the city, you know, and I'm talking like, you know, 100k plus, which is, you're in the Range Rover and modern Land Rover Defender V8 territory, this is actually something you should be considering. And if you are, contact AVA, because I do believe this is for sale, because they build these vehicles to actually sell, and I'll put their contact details in the description below. But I have a feeling this is probably going to be around about 150 grand mark, but which is a lot. But you've got to bear in mind, supercar performance, and it looks stunning if you like that sort of thing. And obviously these things are fully customizable, so if you don't like that paint, I'm sure other colors are available, and if you don't like that grille, other grills are available. But yeah, I've been persuaded.
Yeah, and me too.
But question to you guys, are you urban or are you country? Which Land Rover Defender would you guys have out there? And on that bombshell, I hope you enjoyed this episode, and we'll see you on the next one.